This might look like ordinary yarn to you, but this is actually a magic yarn ball. So what is a magic yarn ball, you might be asking? Great question. A magic yarn ball is essentially a ball of yarn that is made up of all your scraps from different projects. And it's magic because you never know when your colors are going to change and what yarn you're going to come to next. So I've got this market bag here that I'm working on using a magic yarn ball, and as you can see, the colors change very suddenly, very randomly, very eclectic, and this is just a great way to use up your scrap pieces of yarn. So today I'm going to show you how to make your own magic yarn ball using scrap pieces. Of course, you don't have to only use scrap pieces. If you have, say, a really small ball of yarn that you want to use up, you could of course incorporate something like this into the magic yarn ball. But I find this is very helpful for me because I do a lot of crochet tutorials. So this is doing some corner to corner work. This is when I taught how to do a granny square, different things like this. And I've ended up over the years with lots of these little swatches that I will never do anything with. They're just little test pieces, if you will. But this is a lot of yarn and I really don't want to throw this out, and I could use it for stuffing projects, but I don't make enough things that I stuff to hang on to all this. So instead we're going to turn it into a magic yarn ball. We're going to be adding on to this yarn ball here, and there's really only a couple of rules to this, but you can do this a lot of different ways. The first rule is you need to decide how you're going to connect your ends of yarn, and you need to decide what size yarn you're going to use. When I say size yarn, I don't mean it all has to be exactly the same, but things that are comparable. So I have very different yarns. Here, this is a cotton yarn. This was some yarn that someone was getting through their yarn stash and getting rid of it, and I have no idea what kind of yarn this is. This is likely Red Heart. All different yarns, but if we compare them, the yarns are fairly similar in size. If you want to incorporate a yarn that is smaller, for example, this is a little piece using mandala yarn, and this is a lot smaller than, say, the Red Heart yarn. To compensate, I will just double this yarn up. That's really all you need to know. Let's jump into how we attach them. So I'm going to be attaching to this, and I need to figure out what I'm going to unravel. I think I'm going to undo this piece. And here is how I'm going to join these two pieces of yarn. First, I'm going to take my red piece, come underneath the yellow piece, and then across the front. So our yellow piece of yarn we're just leaving be. Our red we're going underneath and then over the front. Then to finish the knot, we're going to take this tail piece and go under the red. So we can just take our right red piece and cross it over this tail piece of red. And then last of all, I'm going to push the tail through this loop right here. So cross it over, trying to keep my fingers out of the way. And go down through that loop, and then I can pull from either end of my red and get a nice knot. So that attaches the red to the yellow, and now we're going to attach the yellow to the red. I'm going to pull out some more slack. This is going to be really similar, just kind of opposite, if you will. So this time we're going to first go under our red piece and then over across the top. So we're going to come over, we're going to go over the red and over the yellow piece. Then we're going to come with the yellow tail up through this loop right here that we just created. So push it up and under. Little loop like that, a little knot, and then we're going to take both ends of the yellow and pull it snug. So now we have the red tied around the yellow and the yellow tied around the red. I'm going to grab my big main pieces, not the tail ends, and when I pull, these two knots will slide close together. We're almost done with our join. I'm just going to grab either end of the red and give it a nice firm snug pull to make sure that knot's really secure. Grab both ends of the yellow, pull firmly, make sure that's really secure. And then I'm going to grab my long opposite color pieces, do one last pull together, making sure my knots are nice and cinched up, and then we're going to cut the short tails. And cut off the red tail, and then the yellow tail. This creates our little join, and now we can start winding it around our magic yarn ball. And that color transition is going to get buried when we join other colors, and we won't remember what comes next until we start working on a project, and we'll be surprised by the magical color changes. I'll show you that join one more time. So I'm gonna leave a bit of a tail from my one piece, and then I need to find something else to join. We're gonna take whatever this blue piece was supposed to be, we're gonna unravel this. So let's join the blue and the yellow. First, we're going to tie the yellow around the blue. So I'm gonna leave my blue piece sitting here, and I'm gonna go underneath the blue with my yellow, fold down across the top of the blue, go under my yellow, creating this little loop here with the yellow, and then I'm going to take this tail and push it down through the yellow loop. Something about like that, and then pull tight. I'm gonna pull myself a little bit of extra just so I have plenty of room to work with my blue tail. I'm gonna go under the yellow and up. Then I'm gonna come down over the yellow and over the blue, and then go up through the blue loop. So with this tail, go underneath this little piece here, and up through the blue loop, and pull the blue tight. Then grab opposite colors and slide our knots together. Pull firmly on both yellow ends, pull firmly on both blue ends, pull firmly on both of our main pieces, and then trim our tails. That is our join, and now we'll just wind this piece up into our main magic yarn ball. And that's all there is to this process. So I obviously have a bit more to go. I've got lots of little pieces here, lots of knots to tie and lots of winding to do, but then I'll have a ball of yarn that I'll be able to use for projects like a bag. You can make a rug using this technique, you can make a blanket, lots of super cute ways you can use this and put your scrap yarns to good use. Once I get finished with this bag, and hopefully I'll be finished with it by the time this video actually gets posted, but once I get finished with this bag, I will either do a video tutorial or I'll put this up on my blog or on Etsy. You'll be able to find a tutorial for this bag somewhere. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but keep an eye out for that and make sure you keep coming back to find more great videos. I've got a lot of really fun things for the fall and for Christmas coming up, and I've got some crochet ideas I'll have sprinkled through there. But thanks so much for watching and happy crafting.